What's up, y'all? Welcome to the channel Saved by the Code, where I discuss all things Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. It has been quite a while since I've put a video out, and I've been kicking myself recently for why the heck haven't I put a video out. And apparently I kicked myself hard enough to where I finally put some content out, and I intend on putting out consistent content. It's just crazy what's going on in the world. I just can't help but talk about all this insanity that's happening. If you've been paying attention at all to the news, our financial system is breaking, burning, melting, whatever you want to call it. It's not working very well. Who would have ever seen this coming? I thought it was working so well. I thought everything was just fine and dandy. And this just took me off guard. Whoa! Our banks are insolvent? Our financial system doesn't work? Whoa! Who would have ever guessed? I mean, this just came out of nowhere. It's crazy. I know. Oh, man. To have faith in your country's financial system. I mean, come on. Why wouldn't you? I know. I'm worn out too. Everybody out there is worn out. And it's going to continue to get worse. I hate to tell you. On this channel, all I want to do is just report to you the objective facts. And I'm not going to hold back. We are in a very bad situation. A very bad one. However, fortunately, we have things like Bitcoin to save the day. Bitcoin is, what is that? A bird, a plane? It's Bitcoin. It's not Superman. And it's a beautiful thing to have something like Bitcoin. I mean, I try to imagine a world without Bitcoin, and it is a hopeless world. To not have an alternative to all of this insanity, this unnecessary insanity, by the way. None of this needs to happen, but it does. And we have things like Bitcoin, not things, one thing like Bitcoin, to where you are able to be your own bank. You are able to be in full control of your money. You are able to have your money in full control of you that is not confiscatable. Unconfiscatable, what I mean by that is that if you store Bitcoin properly, even if the government came to your doorstep and said, "Give us all your Bitcoin. We're going to take it all." You could say, "Here you go. Here's my device where I store my Bitcoin. There you go. Have it." But they don't have your private keys. And essentially, private keys are what allow you to access. It's a key specific to you are the only one with that specific key that enables you to access that particular amount of Bitcoin. And even if they took the device that it was stored on, if you had your private keys stored safely, you'd be able to transfer that Bitcoin from that device that they just took from you onto another one. So, anyways, without any further delay, let's get into the stories that I have for you today. Bitcoin mining is just blowing up in Texas. And I don't mean catching fire, exploding. I mean just really a lot of operations are going to Texas. And Texas is just this wonderful, it has retained the values of where America came from, why this country is still one of the greatest places to live in the entire world. Even though we live under the illusion of freedom in this country, Texas has retained so many of the original values that this country was built on and continues to fight for the people. You know, the Second Amendment there is just so potent. You can just feel it in the air, and it's just a beautiful. People that are Second Amendment advocates are not murderers. They don't want to hurt people. They are just trying to retain American values, and this is why America became to be, is the Second Amendment. Anyways, but I don't want to get into that topic in this video. Maybe I'll make another video on that. However, Bitcoin is being Texas is very Bitcoin is very welcoming to Texas. Texas is being very welcoming to Bitcoin culture, Bitcoin miners. They are accepting them with open arms. And the communist state of China that controls every aspect of everyone's lives and has the tightest gun regulations in the entire world and the least free nation on the entire world, by the way. Do you see a correlation there? Banned Bitcoin a year or two ago, whatever. And a lot of these Bitcoin miners flocked to other areas of the world, a lot of them flocking to Texas. And Texas is welcoming them with open arms. The Bitcoin culture in Texas is booming. And so is the mining industry there. And it just speaks volumes to the, how Texas just retains the values of America. And Bitcoin is freedom. It's freedom money. It puts the power back into the hands of the people. It literally removes money from those that want to control you. So if you have your money in a bank, it's not yours, and you're giving your money to these banking institutions, to these politicians that can do with it what they will when you put your money in a bank. And they take, as all of us have seen, time and time again, banks let you down. They 2008 is just a prime example. They take on these risks and they destroy people's lives, and then they make you pay for it. It's disgusting. And Bitcoin is the complete antithesis of that. It puts you in complete control of your money. It allows you to decide where, it allows you to take control of your money. And there's no company behind Bitcoin. There's no CEO. Once you own your Bitcoin, you own it, and no one can take these undue risks with your money and screw everybody else over. And that's why Bitcoin has seen so much resistance. But we live in America, and it's pretty amazing how it's still just, this country is just, the effects of what happened in 1776 are still felt today. And I mean, look, Bitcoin is allowed to exist in this country. It's welcomed into the state of Texas. And I wish it would be, and Wyoming is pretty amazing, is awesome too with regards to Bitcoin acceptance. And, this story right here states that, Bitcoin mining is booming in Texas, and it is because it's so welcoming. It's just, come to our state. We want to empower the people, and that's what Bitcoin does so well. It empowers the people. And Texas is just opening their borders to all of this, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful to see. And this article gets into how Bitcoin is straining the electrical grid, and it's true. Bitcoin uses a lot of energy, and on this channel, I just report to you the facts. I'm not gonna lie and say, Bitcoin doesn't consume a bunch of energy, and it does. It consumes a lot of energy, and apparently it's putting a strain on the Texas electrical grid. However, what you need to ask yourself is this electricity usage justified? Is the service that Bitcoin is providing to humanity justified? And you can liken it to, okay, so banks use lots of energy with their buildings, with their lights in their buildings, with their computers. They use a lot of energy. Washing machines use a lot of energy. So do game systems. So do Christmas lights. These things use lots of energy. Is their energy use justified? Christmas lights, they're pretty. They're nice to look at during the holidays. They're nice. Look at all those Christmas lights. Look at that guy's house. It's lit up. That uses a lot of energy just for you to look at and enjoy, and wonderful. It's beautiful. I mean, that's, I guess, kind of justified. I don't know. It doesn't really save anybody's life, though. Washing machines are wonderful. I mean, it would suck to have to wash your clothes, on one of those boards or whatever. That would suck. So they're pretty useful. Game systems, your kids are playing games at night. They get enjoyment out of that. Okay, does that provide any use to humanity? Banks, the scourge of the entire earth, that are using all of this energy with their lights, with their computers, with all these things that destroy people's lives and that just do all these deceptive, horrible things. And they use so much energy, yet we believe in them. We're forced to use them. I understand. We're forced to use these banks that do all these terrible things, that use all of this energy. They use much more energy than Bitcoin, by the way. And it's just crazy how none of this is ever mentioned in these articles that bash Bitcoin for energy usage. And this article right here is kind of bashing, it sort of is. It's saying it's kind of neutral. It's like, it's pretty awesome that Bitcoin is accepted into Texas. However, and there's tax incentives even. But in Texas, some counties have offered tax incentives, and miners continue to be drawn to its wind and solar power. There's a lot of renewable energy that is being implemented into Bitcoin's network because with Bitcoin mining, it's energy intensive. However, you are incentivized to find an energy source that is the least expensive. And renewable energy, sure, the infrastructure it's a lot of money to set up wind turbines and hydroelectric power. And however, once that's set up, it's a lot cheaper in the long term than coal-derived electricity. And, it just naturally will move in that direction. Renewable energy, and a lot of the Bitcoin network already is operating on renewable energy. But what I'm trying to say is just that I just don't get why Bitcoin's energy usage is just such a focus of why it's so bad. It is not. Its energy usage is justified. What it provides to humanity is justified, especially in these financial environment. This is exactly what Bitcoin was designed for. Banking failures. You put your money in a bank and you have faith in it, and then it just collapses. Bye-bye. Like, Bitcoin will never do that to you. If you store your Bitcoin properly, you are in full control of your money. I mean, maybe it will fluctuate against the US dollar, but this is what the transition looks like from a US dollar standard to a Bitcoin standard. And it takes time, and it's going to be hard. And so, I mean, sorry for the rant there, but Bitcoin mining is going crazy. In Texas, a lot of energy is being used. However, a lot of it is renewable, and it's just Bitcoin mining is the backbone of the Bitcoin network. If Bitcoin mining is not healthy and it's not growing, Bitcoin is screwed. But take it from myself. I worked at a Bitcoin mine in Pennsylvania, and it was a massive operation. This was a $300-400 million data center with 13,000 miners, and I saw firsthand the investment and the amount of work and the amount of infrastructure being put into. This was just one site in Pennsylvania with $400 million invested in it. It's just crazy. And so to think how many other sites like that there are around the world, and the decentralization of Bitcoin's network is just mind-blowing. So moving on to the next story. Ted Cruz, respect for this. He's a politician. All of us associate the word politician with dirty, bad things. And, but it's hard to say that this is there's a lot, Ted Cruz and Ron DeSantis and a politician from South Dakota apparently are anti-CBDC. CBDC being central bank digital currency. And these are viewed as Ron DeSantis stated, it was a quote, Big Brother's dollar. And it's like this insanely surveilled dollar that can be shut off at any time. You be cut off, you're surveilled. They already exist. I don't get why people think CBDCs are this new thing. Your money in your bank account is digital. It's not yours. It's surveilled. You can be shut off from it at any time. It's just funny how, CBDCs are this new fangled thing that it's just, regardless. I mean, it's really great to see politicians working against this. And I have no trust in any politician. I guess some more than others, but they are fighting against this, and it's kind of cool to see. It's hard for me to trust any politician, but when a politician fights against a CBDC, that's pretty cool. They don't want the state to surveil their citizens. They don't want the state to be in complete control of their money. And they're actually, Ted Cruz is a Bitcoin advocate. It's hard to say that he, isn't for the people, because Bitcoin is freedom money. It's for the people. And he's for Bitcoin, and he's against CBDCs. And it's just, I don't know. I don't know what his agenda is. I mean, I feel like every politician has an agenda. They're self-centered, but it just seems like this modern age, like Trump and Cruz and DeSantis and these politicians, like, I'm not a supporter of anybody, I just like, they seem to be about what America was built on. They're Second Amendment advocates, which is huge. The Second Amendment is more important, in my opinion, than the First Amendment, which we don't even have. I have freedom of speech, please. But I'm not going to get into that now. But it's just really great to see politicians fighting against this CBDC crap. Because, I mean, like I said, CBDCs already exist. Central bank digital currency is what CBDC stands for. And we already have them. All of your money in a bank is digital, created out of thin air, and lend it out to others. They make money off of it, and then they take risks with your money that causes the bank to collapse. It just happens over and over and over again. Only 3% of money, I think, is cash, like physical cash. So the other 97% is just digital nothing, backed by nothing, not by gold or anything, which is why I just think all roads lead to Bitcoin. Like, imagine a system backed by Bitcoin, a decentralized network that no one controls, that's neutral, that's limited supply. There's only going to be 21 million. I mean, like, it just seems we need to try something else. Like, something else needs to be tried. Like, I don't know if a Bitcoin standard would work. I don't know if a system based off of Bitcoin would work. I know for a fact that the system that we have now is a complete and total scam, only meant to benefit those closest to the money printer. I think that's incredibly apparent and obvious. And we need to try something different. Something different needs to be tried. And Bitcoin is that thing that needs to be tried. We already tried the gold standard. It got banned by Nixon. Thank you, Richard Nixon, for that. Appreciate it. And so just something else needs to be tried. And now we have this newfangled technology called Bitcoin. And I think we should give it a try. And, I always say that it's just a risk not to have any Bitcoin in your portfolio, not financial advice. But I get it. Everybody's situation's different. Even if it was 0.5% of your net worth, 0.25%, whatever, $100, $50, $10, $1,000, everybody's situation's different. Not having any Bitcoin is a risk. It's a risk not to have any. It's called a risk asset, but it's a risk not to have any Bitcoin. Oh, goodness gracious. Great balls of fire. Here's the next story. Another Texas story. I just started this whole episode out with a bunch of Texas stuff. Bitcoin mining booming in Texas. Texas Senator Ted Cruz loves anti-CBDC. He's in a Bitcoin. Look at him riding on a... If you're looking at the screen, there's a picture of Ted Cruz on a bull. It's actually pretty hilarious. So Texas. Love Texas. Never been there, by the way. I would love to visit. I've only flown through there, but like I said, it's one of the few places in this entire country that is retaining the original American values of freedom, of power to the people, of less government. I want to visit. Anyways, this next story, the headline is Texas House introduces bill to boost local Bitcoin economy and protect rights of individual Bitcoin ownership. What a beautiful thing. I mean, Texas is literally at the forefront in the entire world of financial sovereignty, of financial freedom, of you being in control of your money. It is at the forefront of the entire world. No other place in the entire world is putting out this kind of legislation. And it's just beautiful to see that they are just fighting. They are just throwing hands. I mean, listen to this. This is just beautiful. No. Let me see here. The principles express support for protecting individuals who code or develop on the Bitcoin network, which is a key component of protecting Bitcoin within a state. In addition, the state will ensure that individuals who mine Bitcoin in Texas will never be inhibited by any law or resolution that restricts the practice of securing the Bitcoin network for the safety of the virtual currency, which is held and transferred peer-to-peer. That paragraph is just beautiful. It should be in the Constitution or something. Like, it's hard to deny that Texas is just, they're actually fighting for the people. And it's so hard for me to think that a politician is actually fighting for the people, but how can you deny it whenever they're promoting Bitcoin and promoting and protecting those who code on Bitcoin and those who hold Bitcoin? I mean, it's hard to deny. It's crazy. I mean, I don't know what to say. I know it goes against everything I think about politicians, but it seems to me that things are kind of changing. Like, we had Trump in 2016. We got all this Bitcoin legislation stuff going on in Texas and Florida and the South. The South is so beautiful. Like, just a wonderful retainment of American values. The Second Amendment with Bitcoin, with all that stuff. Whatever other stuff. And it's just beautiful to see. Like, there are places in the world where this stuff is being actually adopted and fought for, and beautiful thing to see. It really is. So Bitcoin is being, that's why I started this episode out with all this Texas stuff, is because they are at the forefront of fighting for getting this technology adopted and put in the hands of people who need it. Maybe we don't need it here in the States. I know we Bitcoin is needed in places where people don't have, like Venezuela or Turkey or Argentina, like, those places where people's banks get their bank accounts just get decimated. You just get shut out. Done. Bye. See ya. Your savings are gone. Bye. It's ours now. And these are the places that seriously need Bitcoin. Like, I mean, it's just horrible to hear about that. Imagine working in these bad conditions for your family, and then your life savings just getting wiped out because of a few greedy people at the top that just print, unchecked, just print your hard-earned savings into oblivion and just shut you out of your bank account. We need Bitcoin. We need it so bad. And it's going to happen here. Like, we live in this nice, cushy, U.S. It'll never happen here. Our banks are fine. Everything's great. Everything's fine. Oh, please, wake up. Nothing's fine. Nothing's okay. Our financial system is melting before our eyes. Those that have Bitcoin are at least hedging their bets. I don't know if, like I'm saying, this is a truthful channel. I don't know if it'll work, but I know for a fact that the system that we operate on doesn't work, and then we need to try something new. And Bitcoin's that new thing. So, anyways, let's continue on to the next story we got here. Bitcoin's miners' revenue from fees rises, suggesting onset of major bull run. Apparently, the fees that miners are earning is going up. Imagine that, because the price went up, as well as increased demand. Increased transaction throughput on the Bitcoin network is happening. Miners are making more money. And so there's more of an incentive to get into mining. It's a beautiful thing to see, because mining is the backbone of Bitcoin's network. If the mining industry is not healthy, Bitcoin is not healthy. The mining industry is extremely healthy. In fact, I think the hash rate is at like close to an all-time high. Hash rate meaning the amount of Bitcoin miners in the network. So if there's more Bitcoin miners in the network, the hash rate, that's what it's called, the hash rate, will go higher at a very basic level of just explaining it. And there's a lot. Like I said, I worked at a Bitcoin mine in Pennsylvania, and it was a $300 million project. And there were literally 24 of these things called pods. And the bottom of the pod had all the electrical work, and the top had all the miners. There was like 500 miners per pod with these massive fans just cooling all the miners, just mining Bitcoin. Even at that scale, that site was doing 4 Bitcoin a day at the peak. 4 Bitcoin a day with 13,000 miners. The difficulty there, like to mine that much Bitcoin with that many miners, the network is extremely secure and decentralized enough to where it ain't getting stopped by nobody. Anyways, Bitcoin miners' revenue from fees rise, suggesting onset of a major bull run. Apparently, this is like a leading indicator for a big bull run for Bitcoin's price to go up a lot whenever the miners' revenue is high, whenever the transaction fee. So it costs money to send Bitcoin to someone. It does. There needs to be an incentive for people to secure the network. And this is one of those. When you send Bitcoin to someone, it costs you 50 cents, 40 cents, 30 cents, $1, whatever. And part of these fees go to the people mining, supporting the network. And apparently these fees are going up. And so apparently this is what precedes a major bull run. So maybe, who knows? Stuff is just so crazy anymore. Just like the metrics don't line up anymore, and things don't make any sense. It's like, okay, I'm pretty sure a bull run's gonna happen, but I don't know. I don't even rely on metrics anymore. People with all their graph stuff, it doesn't matter. If the world's going, how do you predict what's happening right now? How do you predict banks collapsing and a bunch of money flowing into Bitcoin? There's no indicator for that. There's no graph that's going to predict that. There's nothing that's going to predict any of that. So, whatever. Anyways, next story. Bitcoin emerges as a safe haven as traditional finance faces turmoil. Yes, naturally, money will flow into a system that enables you to be your own bank. This is why I mentioned earlier that it's a risk not to have any Bitcoin, because Bitcoin enables you to be your own bank. You are in full control of your money, not anybody else, and nobody can inflate it into oblivion. There is a capped amount of Bitcoin. No one can change that, and no one can take your Bitcoin if you store it properly. And the price is reflecting that. And I guess I think I mentioned this earlier. That's just like a world without Bitcoin is just a hopeless world. Like not having an alternative to these corrupt banks and just horrible fiscal policies that just benefit the few at the top. I mean, yeah, sure, we have gold, but gold is physical, and you only have one gold bar and you're safe. If it gets stolen, it's gone. With Bitcoin, if you store it properly on a USB drive or a ledger, if it gets taken, you can transfer that Bitcoin away. So it's just Bitcoin. It really is a lifeboat. I mean, not having an alternative like this is a scary world. It really is to me. It's a hopeless, scary world. Here's another story. $14 trillion earthquake. Fidelity and Blackrock are quietly laying the groundwork for the next Bitcoin, Ethereum, and crypto price bull run. Apparently, Blackrock really likes Bitcoin, and Blackrock is it is the biggest asset manager on the entire planet Earth, with over $9 trillion in assets. $9 trillion. Do you understand how much money that is? That is just like $9 trillion is just $9 billion is a lot of money. 9 million that's a pretty good amount of money, but 9 billion is a lot. $9 trillion in assets is what BlackRock controls, and they're in the fact that Bitcoin is even in the same sentence as BlackRock is just like huge. I'm not an advocate of BlackRock. I'm sure they do horribly dirty things to get all the money that and all the assets that they have. However, the fact that they're even talking about Bitcoin, it benefits you and me. It's hard. I mean, Bitcoin literally is freedom money, and the fact that I'm sure they own a lot of Bitcoin, but here at BlackRock, we continue to explore the digital asset ecosystem, especially areas most relevant to our clients, such as permission, blockchains, and tokenization. They don't give a shit about their clients, anything, whatever. They want to make money. Very interesting developments are happening in the digital asset space. Quote from Larry Fink, who is the chief executive of BlackRock. They don't care about you. They don't care about anybody. They care about making money. However, you'll make money if you hold Bitcoin and they're promoting it. If you hold your Bitcoin, you own it. And if they're talking about it, naturally, your net worth will go up, because I'm just a believer that those who hold Bitcoin, there will be people that have Bitcoin and those that don't in the future. And those that don't are going to really have a hard time. I don't know. I'm just a guy on the internet talking about crypto and Bitcoin. Anyways, here's Elon Musk talking about banks are melting. Great. Wonderful. Elon, love you, buddy. Thanks for chiming in. I don't even want to talk about this story. And this is kind of the end of the video, but this is just a hilarious picture. This is why I put this story up of Jerome Powell sitting in a bathtub full of $100 bills with a red print button. It just made me laugh. It was just so funny. I was like, I gotta put this in, even if I don't talk about the story. The story is the Federal Reserve intervenes bank term funding program. I don't know, whatever. Stuff is so ridiculous these days. This is all I wanted to end this video with, was this hilarious picture of Jerome Powell in a bathtub of money with a big red button that says print. So, alright everybody, that does it for this video. Thank you for listening. I hope you all enjoyed. Please subscribe, like the video, and yeah, I bid you all farewell on your cryptocurrency journey.